guys and ghouls. Anyway, so horror movies. I love horror movies, and I'll watch them anywhere, anytime I can get them. So this weekend we did watch a few horror flicks. This is going to be my review on What Happened to Dorothy Bell. It is written and directed by a Senor Danny Villanueva Jr. It also stars Michael Hargrove, who was in the Candyman reboot. Lisa Wilcox, who I didn't realize was from Nightmare on Elm Street 4. She played Alice. There's a person named Asya Meadows, Asya Meadows, and Arlene Arnone Bibbs. Okay, so if you've been on Tubi, you may have seen this one. It's probably come across, suggested watch. What's it about? Okay, so it's about a young person named Ozzie that sets out to document an incident from their past in which their grandmother attacked them as a child. Seeking answers and finding none from their parents, Ozzie visits the library where Dorothy Bell, her grandma, was rumored to be a witch and committed suicide. Oof. Maybe I shouldn't say that word. Committed unaliving of oneself. Yeah, let's go with that. Edit that out later. Okay, I'll edit it out later. Okay, cool. Thanks for editing it out later. Anyways, it's kind of like a found footage movie. It's presented through old home movies. There's video diaries, security cameras, and there's like a telehealth therapy session where a couple things happen in that one. Pretty interesting. That's where Lisa Wilcox shines because she's the therapist in this one. The young person is increasingly desperate in attempting to communicate with her grandmama or their grandmama's spirit. And instead of doing that, they kind of unwittingly awaken something that is far more malevolent and supernatural than she imagined. Thematically, it's kind of it's really a slow burn. It's a slow burn flick, and has a lot to do with familial and generational trauma and psychology, and the stuff that we don't talk about as myself as a Latino minority person. We don't talk about that. So and so was just off, or they were little. Tú sabes. That's what it's about. It's a good premise. I like the premise a lot. As far as generational trauma and spirits and stuff like that. There are a few movies that have done that lately. Hereditary is one of them that did it very, very well. This one, I'm not saying is like that. I'm just saying it's in that vein. Like if I was gonna do a movie night about horror familial trauma, that would also be in it. Would be Hereditary and this one, and probably some other ones. So it's not a bad movie. It's not. It's like I said, it's a slow burn flick, and there's a lot of potential. There really is. They did what they could with what they had, is how I feel. I really wish that they would have explored the parents in this movie a little bit more. I'm trying not to do any spoilers throughout it. I'm just trying to give you a review, an honest review without spoiling anything. Michael Hargrove from the Candyman reboot or requel plays a concerned, patient-loving father. He does a great job. Like, I really felt for him as the dad that's really concerned about their child that is, going through some shit. I would have loved to have seen more of him. Lisa Wilcox, Alice from Nightmare on Elm Street 4. She's a therapist, and I really didn't even know that she was from Nightmare 4 until I checked the IMDb on this, which is where I got some of my synopsis and Dread Central and Reddit and Rotten Tomatoes, whatever. Asya Meadows plays a role to a T. I keep saying she because I don't know their pronouns. They play a very convincing someone that's troubled and fighting for their past while presently struggling with mental health issues, which seems like, something that's been passed on from, say, somebody else. That's what it seems like for the person looking outward into the situation. You'd be like, oh, that's generational trauma or generational mental illness that's passed down from, one to the other. Or is it, a demonic entity that has taken control? Who's to say? The Dorothy Bell, the titular character, played by Arlene Arnoon Bibbs, does a great job. She nails every scene she's in, and really that's what drives the sadness of the situation, and what's causing all of it is because they play this wonderful grandmother, loving, caring grandparent, and all of a sudden there's a situation where violence erupts, and the grandmother did something to the granddaughter, which is the Alicia Meadows, which is Ozzie character. Again, I'm going to say it again, slow burn. Is it scary? I don't know. By the time you get to a really good scare, you might have already started to reach for your phone and check your socials and maybe play a game that you have on your phone, which it's a shame, but I did find myself wanting to reach for my phone at some points. It's a shame because you really do need to pay attention to this movie and kind of see where it's going, where there's characters going, all the characters in this. It does have a couple of good jump scares, a couple of good little scenes. The tone of the movie makes you feel uncomfortable throughout, and not in a bad way, just like, ooh, that's like, oh shit, what's gonna happen? So it's building the tension all the way up until the ending, when you finally get the big brouhaha of what's going on. And it kind of ends a little abruptly for me, but it leaves you wondering, is it a demonic force or is it a mental breakdown for Ozzie? And I gotta honestly say, it was worth a watch. It was good. It's a good movie. I would like to have seen it expanded a little bit more, maybe put a little more emphasis on the family and, a little bit more on the Ozzie character, and let us know what actually happened, because they allude to it in clips, what happened and what the grandmother did, but they never really give you an out and out, which, sometimes that's good. Some people would want to build that in their heads. Like, if you have a good imagination, you can build, I can see this having happened. But for some people that just want a straight horror flick, this might not be for them. But if you're a person that enjoys a slow build into something, you might like it. So yeah, that's what happened to Dorothy Bell, and that is on Tubi for free. So you can't beat it, can't complain. You can watch it. It's about 2 hours long. Again, give it a shot. Let me know if y'all liked it. If you got any horror movie suggestions for me on Tubi or any of the other platforms, I'd love to check them out. I like watching the obscure stuff, so maybe you don't have to if you're like, nah, or yeah. This was definitely worth a watch. It's a good watch, but you got to pay attention. If you're going to be messing on your phone and doing shit like some other people were, you might not like it. You might not understand it. So that's my review. See y'all in the next one. Bye.